1999, or perhaps more than doubled. This is excellent news for the middle class, for merchants, for entrepreneurs and industry leaders, and it's even better news for the millions who were poor and who have been lifted out of poverty and illiteracy by this economic growth. And this economic growth has come about through the application at the level of the economy of economic theory taught in universities and business schools, and at the level of the firm by the application of the ideas you have been taught on your degree programme at IILM. However, it is, as we know, not all good news, and perhaps we're most conscious of it in the UK. The world economy has been in deep trouble over the past 2 years, and much thought and effort has gone into steering us out of these troubled waters. In my address this afternoon, I want to talk briefly about this economic crisis and what I think it means for you as tomorrow's managers. This is where I make a little foray into the unknown, and so pay attention, although you won't be examined on this. Something with a mobile phone that needs to be turned off. On your marketing courses, you will have learned about the 4 Ps. In fact, I think there are now many more than 4 Ps, are there not? It's 7, 8 or 9 that you'll have been taught about. Today I'm starting small, and I have 3 M's. The 3 M's of might, mind and morals. These aren't yet in any of the management textbooks. I've revived them from some very insightful work on organisational analysis by the sociologist Amitai Etzioni and by the political economist Adam Smith. My challenge to you new graduates this afternoon is to develop your skills in all 3 of these arenas, in the arenas of might, mind and morals. By might I refer to the exercise of power. By mind I mean the application of all our mental faculties and powers of rational thought and behaviour. And by morals I mean the business of knowing what is wrong and what is right, what should and should not be done, and being part of a community which upholds codes of conduct about what are acceptable and unacceptable ways to behave. If as managers you are skilled in all 3 areas, then as teachers we will have done our jobs properly, and as managers you will be able to engage into the sustainable development of your companies and of our society and the world, so that all may benefit from the fruits of economic growth. Let me say a little more about each of these 3 M's in the context of the global financial crisis. Much has been made of the first one of these, of the issue of might, and by might I mean power, not what could have been. People talk about the self-styled masters of the universe, a phrase that you'll have doubtless come across, and many people who talk about masters of the universe rejoice in how the mighty have fallen. Except it seems clear in the UK at least that the mighty have not really fallen and are even now carving out bigger bonuses for themselves for the coming year. Part of the analysis of the global economic crisis is that the financial sector became too powerful and the regulators were too weak. Clearly there's some truth in this. Many of the individuals and institutions in the financial sector were very powerful indeed, and undoubtedly did use their power to their own ends and at the expense of the rest of us. It's been said by Lord Acton, I think, that all power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Might is potentially dangerous, and great skill is needed to use it for the common good. What about the role of the second M, that of mind or of thought or cognition? There seems to be some ambiguity in people's arguments about the role of mind in the economic crisis. Perhaps the most frequent criticism has been that there was too much of it. People were too clever by half. All these complicated financial instruments that turned out no one understood. But should people have perhaps thought even harder about them and made them work properly? Or should people have not been allowed to do these innovative and creative things because they were bound to be beyond our capacity to operate? Or was it that actually might and the lack of morals, greed, were the real motivators, and they distorted some highly rational attempts to do efficient things with markets? The moral argument is the one that seems to have had the greatest currency, particularly with those who are not economists. Greedy bankers have taken a lot